Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times to discuss movies, in this case a new Netflix release that just dropped today in nearly all countries. We're here to talk about The Swarm.
It's coffee time.
This movie, even though it was selected for the Cannes Critics Week, it didn't end up going because of everything that happened in 2020, and Netflix was smart enough to snatch the movie and present it to us now. It was released exactly today, at least in Germany, but funny enough, Netflix is not going to release it in China, France, and Spain. I believe it's because they are going to get a theatrical release in those countries, so they of course want to wait for that. But lucky for me, I was able to watch it today, and I am here to give you guys my thoughts on this new French movie. The Swarm is a 2020 French fantasy horror drama film directed by just Philippot. To save her farm from bankruptcy, a single mother breeds edible grasshoppers. She soon develops a strange, obsessive bond with them that would lead her to confront the local farmers and her own children, who can no longer even recognize her. This debut by the French director has been compared to Jeff Nichols' Take Shelter and David Cronenberg's The Fly, so those are big names to be compared to when it comes to the style of the movie. And after watching the film, I have to agree that I do see those elements in the film. Life has not been easy for Laura, who is a teenager, and her younger brother Gaston after the death of their father. The mother is really struggling. They are trying to keep the farm afloat, and apart from all of that, she also has a lot of tensions and problems with the neighbors and also with her own children. So our fighting mother is decided to save the farm. In order to do so, she has developed this new business, which basically she is going to breed edible locusts in order to turn them into protein flour. However, she will soon realize that they're not growing fast enough. She's not getting enough money for it, so she's really desperate at this point, and she starts to feel like there is no way out of this situation. That is until one day there is an accident that happens that gives her the discovery that she was praying for, and that is that when the locusts come in contact with blood, they tend to like it, and it helps them grow and grow. After she makes this discovery, she decides to boost her production of locusts, and she kind of feeds them blood. That is basically, you know, her new business plan. And I fell in love with the concept of this movie because it is kind of like a modern take on farming, but still keeping it really intimate in the life of this small family of three. And I think it just worked so wonderful. When it comes to cinematography, it was just such a beautiful movie to watch. We were able to enjoy this small isolated farm in the French countryside, and we also got this greenhouse. It was everything really atmospheric, like you really had the feeling that you were in this small isolated place in France. And also when it comes to the bugs, there is a lot of really like close shots, so sometimes you even almost have the feeling that you're watching a documentary. So it kind of also depends if you're a fan of bugs or not, because this movie might be a little bit too intense perhaps for people that really despise bugs, because there is a lot of images of said bugs. The movie is really a slow pace, so it is perhaps not going to be everybody's cup of tea if you are looking for a more action-packed or more fast-paced film. However, I think that it worked in some ways because we really got to get invested with family and their story and their drama, also adding really slowly all of these horror elements to the story without rushing in. And The visual effects were really good as well. However, when it comes to the complete movie as such, it's 1 hour 40 minutes, I believe, and I have the feeling that they just took so much time to build up everything, and then when we got to the ending, it was really quick. It was almost rushed and a little bit abrupt, and I kind of would have loved to see more of that horror, of that kind of more intense images that we got to see at the end, because it just felt like not enough. And I feel like they just spent way too many minutes with the building, and we missed an opportunity here to show a little bit more about the creatures and the horror. The director himself said that to create a bridge between realism and fantasy, I decided to start from a true story. And I feel like a lot of people are going to be able to connect with this story, with this family, because there is a lot of farmers that are struggling out there at the moment because of the prices of the market, and because some of these businesses are family, like small family businesses. And I think this movie just felt so real, even though it had all of these kind of more fantasy elements added to it. For the majority of the movie, we also get a very minimalistic, almost like eerie soundtrack that I think also helped a lot with the atmosphere that this movie was trying to give us, and I think it worked really well. The acting was also on point. I really loved the acting in this movie. Perhaps I had my problems with a teenage daughter because she could be really frustrating as a character sometimes, but she is a teenager and there is that unavoidable teenage angst. However, I have to say the performance of Sulaine Brahim, the woman that portrays the mother, it was just so fantastic, so on point. She is really a nurturing mother, not only to her children, but also to her bugs. And you're going to be able to see the evolution of this character, and it's going to get really disturbing, but it's going to be just fantastic to see. And I have to say, I absolutely fell in love with her. And I also have the feeling that this character really worked for me, because I love characters that are pushed to their limits, and sometimes they end up in the darkest places of their minds. In its core, the story of the movie is fairly simple. We have a mother that is struggling after losing her husband, and she is willing to do anything in order to protect her children, her farm, and keep them safe and keep them afloat. However, she might take things a little bit too far, and I think that's also the beauty of this movie, that it is very intimate. We follow this family of 3, and it is slow paced, and we're getting all of these twists and turns here and there all the time, and action and all of that, but that is really not needed, because this is such a well told story, mostly through images and less through script, that it is just perfect the way that it is. Sometimes, you know, a movie doesn't have to be full of twists and turns. I feel like some movies have the feeling that they have to give us all of these and they overdo it, and I think this movie has the right amount of it. The movie has a social commentary on farming and how now everything has to be organic, and the pressure that it's putting on the farmers at the moment. And it's also a psychological exploration of, you know, this evolution of this mother that is really willing to do anything it takes to keep the farm afloat, and it's going to develop kind of like a weird relationship with her bugs. You're also going to see a different behavior in the locusts through the movie, and they're going to turn more and more violent as the movie progresses. And I just feel like this was so well done. When I heard about, you know, a creature feature with locusts, I was like, is this really going to work? But I feel like the director was really aware where the line was and the line that he could not cross. And I think, like, in general, you really had this creepy feeling about these locusts, and you ended up feeling even a little bit itchy. It can also be seen kind of as a commentary on how the farmers really have to sacrifice their bodies day and night working in order to keep their businesses afloat. And in the same way, we're gonna see this mother deteriorating a little bit mentally and physically throughout the film. This impressive debut is not for the squeamish, but fun for fans of some body horror. It has good acting, an interesting and compelling story. It's exploring something new, like a creature feature from a modern perspective, but still keeping an intimate small town feeling to it, combining some social drama and horror. In the end, I gave this movie a 3 out of 5 stars. However, this is easily a 4 for a lot of people. It is such a good movie, well put together, good visuals, good acting. Like I said, it has all the good elements. I feel like for me, where it lost a little bit is that it didn't have enough body horror. I feel like I was expecting maybe a little bit more towards the end, because the movie felt like building up, and then the ending felt rushed / abrupt. And I feel like that's what made me go a little bit lower with my rating. But this is a movie that I definitely recommend you guys to check out. I think it is definitely worth your time, unless you don't like slow-paced, slow building movies, then maybe not. I recommend you as always to watch it in original with subtitles. This is a French movie, and this is one of the best that I have seen this year as a Netflix release. It was of course not originally a Netflix exclusive, but they did bought the rights to release it in their platform. So it has been one of my favorite Netflix releases of 2021. Let me know down below which has been so far your favorite horror Netflix release, or if there's any French horror movies that you would recommend me. Let me know in the comments down below. I hope that you enjoyed this spoiler-free movie review, and hopefully it helped you decide if you would like to check out the movie or not. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Please give the video a big thumbs up before you leave, and I hope to see you all as always in our next coffee time. Bye!